All right, so welcome back to the podcast. I hope this is a quickie. I don't really want to spend 90 minutes recording right now. But I never know what's gonna happen. So I recorded on Sunday, an episode about what I had recorded on Thursday. Haven't posted either one of them. Haven't posted either one. But I'd say I'm trying to come to terms with something without a lot of external feedback. So usually what I do when I'm kind of not sure about something, I'll go and search for ideas from other places that just kind of help me with adapting my mindset to a new idea based on something that I'm thinking, and maybe it's like a way that I'm thinking that I don't want to think, or a way that I'm feeling that I don't want to feel, and just finding a different way to think about it usually helps. So today's July 11. Last Thursday was the 9th? Well, Friday was the 9th. And then last Thursday was the 8th. So pretty much for most of the month of July, I've been feeling pretty cruddy. As in pretty irritable for who knows what reason. Like there hasn't been a direct connection to why I'm feeling how I feel. So that's been confusing. Like I've had things come up, but they weren't necessarily, I mean, maybe I'm like, downplaying it and telling myself, oh, you're not really upset about this or upset about that. Because there's been things that I feel like aren't big things. But like quite a few small things, I guess I would say. So, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about kind of the routine that I go through, and kind of, today I feel okay, like not perfect, and I wasn't feeling like perfect all day, but, somewhere around dinner, like around 7 or so, I found myself joking with my mom and laughing and, a lot more lighthearted than what I've felt, especially Thursday and the week, pretty much most of last week. So I'm not sure what that is all about, but I am, but I'm not, So yeah, I was just kind of irritated for it didn't seem like there was a main reason. But I've been like pretty irritated. Just mostly, not specifically with my mom, because she hasn't really done anything to upset me. She's usually nice, kind, considerate, thoughtful. Like, she'll do nice things. Like, definitely, she cooks a lot and, replenishes the, toiletries and household supplies. And, she's kind of, like, attentive to, like, okay, we need more of this, we need more of that. And, like, kind of clues me in on, like, what's going on with certain stuff or not or whatever. She's not really like problematic. I can get irritated with her, but she's not like a problematic person. Like, I know usually when I'm all like irritable, it's mostly me. Usually I kind of need a lot more space than I think she kind of understands. She's kind of like for example, in the mornings, I'll wake up and I'll be like, I don't really like being in the kitchen at the same time as people like in the morning, because I'm all like grumpy and just trying to like focus to like get to start work and stuff. And when people start like talking to me and they're all like happy and chipper, and I'm just like not feeling it, I'm not trying to like engage in that conversation. So usually I'll be like, man, like I don't want to be like talking to anybody right now. But yeah, so I just have had a lot of days, like way more than what's normal for me, where I've been like, I didn't really maybe notice how I was feeling most of the time until I was specifically more so around my mom or my dad. And I was just like, I don't think I have any like bitter resentment towards them or anything. If anything, I feel like I've kind of like, done away with a lot of that and kind of have a better understanding with a lot of things that I maybe didn't understand about them, about, how I was raised and different things, and how they've kind of matured and changed. And, I don't really think there's a lot there that's completely unresolved. I mean, other than like maybe directly addressing things with them, that's probably the one thing I haven't really done. And the reason for that is because I don't find it necessary. I think people know what they've done. Whether or not they lie to themselves or not, they kind of know what they did. They don't forget that kind of stuff. So to bring it up, to me, seems like just like a jab, it's kind of like, why, why would I bother doing that? Especially because it's not like it's never come up. It's just that, I don't think I need to really have like a voice with things sometimes, because I think a lot of times my actions have spoken louder than the fact that I had no voice with a lot of stuff. So it's like, okay, like I was able to avoid people for as long as I wanted to. I was kind of calling the shots socially and things like that, of like when we actually get to do stuff together. Like, it was all pretty much up to me. So it was like, if I really don't want to see somebody, I wasn't going to see them. So I don't really feel like I'm really feeling that way anymore, or really kind of have that kind of resentment. I could be wrong, but I don't think that I do, honestly. At least not to the level that it should have made me like as upset as I've been pretty recently. Like that wasn't like a major thing. And something I noticed last week, so this could be a big contributing factor, was, that I got in some workouts. This was probably, I think I worked out last week. Let me see. The 4th of July was Monday. Yeah, so I worked out. I don't remember if I worked out Friday, but I know I worked out Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I think Tuesday. And then I skipped all those other days. So I think I did have some C4 quite a few days to get me like going. And it helped me work out, but I do think it makes me irritable more than necessary. It does kind of give my mood like a negative spike, if you will. I don't know what that's all about either, but I do notice that could be something that contributes. But I mean, that's really the only thing I can think of is C4, other caffeine, I mean, I was pretty confined to my room during last weekend. So last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was kind of just like not at all social. Like, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was perfectly fine being by myself. I didn't want to talk to anyone other than meals. I was just like really in an isolating mood. I just wanted to do my workouts and just sit there and like watch movies and veg out and just like ignore everything. And even before that, the week before the 4th, I was kind of burning out with the end of that month. It was a lot. The last like 2 days of the month or so were like a lot of extra work that we did not expect to have to do all of a sudden on the 30th and the 29th. That was not fun. And then Friday was July 1st. And that Friday was, we were all kind of coming down from the Wednesday and Thursday before. And then, we had a 3-day weekend that week. And then I made another 3-day weekend for myself this week. I took off last Friday. And so, I was off hanging out with friends and having a great time. But on my way out of the house on Thursday of last week, on the 8th, I was probably in the worst mood I remember being in a very long time. Like, I don't know what that was about. I was beyond irritated. I was just like, it was just this energy that I was just like, man, like, I felt like I couldn't leave the house fast enough. Like, I was just like, I want to get the F out of here. Like, I was just like a ball of energy, but like a not good energy. I was just like literally like ready to explode. And if I wasn't actually going to do something that I deeply wanted to do, if that hadn't been the case, if I was having to run an errand or if my car had broken down or anything, I don't know what would have happened. In all honesty, I probably would have like totally lost it. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't. And the thing is weird. Like, I'm not like not an angry person. It's just that it's something that I haven't really experienced in a really long time. Like, I've experienced definitely being like like, just kind of like with the roommates and stuff, just kind of like these guys, like, just but maybe it was because I was, always like smoking flower and like pretty stoned after work. I'd smoke a bowl probably almost, I don't know, every day, but like, especially when I had to be at home, I was like, well, there's no way I'm gonna be here like just completely with no weed. Like, I'm gonna end up like saying something really rude or mean to somebody. And I would sit out in my car for like an hour or two, record podcast episodes, go down the street, record podcast episodes for like a couple hours. I'd stay out of the house, smoke up in the parking lot or outside of the house and just like be on my phone and like ignoring everybody and just out of the house and like having my own space and needing to like unwind and vent. That was pretty normal. And when I moved, I didn't really have that anymore. Like, I can't really smoke flower here because of the parking arrangements. The parking is like right up against the house. It's a driveway, not like street parking. So it's a driveway and it, I park right near the house, and the door, there's a gate where I park, and there's a door on the other side of the gate, and there is the kitchen window as well as the living room window on that side of the house, and they're pretty much open most of the time during the daytime. My mom usually opens them in the morning when she wakes up, And so I was not really fond of it. Of like, you know, trying to smoke without, it's not a non-noticeable thing. It's definitely noticeable. But my family's not really 100% about it. They're like, not really like, it's not really something that they want in the house or anything, or to like know about or be around. So it's not like I can just be openly just like smoking. Not that I haven't, I just can't really just do it just whenever. So it's not like straight after work I can go out and like blaze up. Like, that's not really a thing. I can have edibles. Nobody cares about those. Or, I have a vape pen, and that's a little easier to just like vape, blow the smoke out the bathroom window or something. Burn a little incense, it'll take care of that. Like, it's not, as long as the vapors aren't like coming back into the house through the window, it's a window that like quickly shuts. So it's like I can easily just like blow that out the window, shut the window, and it, a little incense mask it, if anything. But, it just doesn't really feel the same, I guess I would say. I noticed that like weed, the flower really is maybe more calming than vaping, even though vaping is more noticeable than nothing. Flower for me anyways is more, it's just, I can't smoke a lot of it either, because of my throat. So that's one thing that could potentially be contributing, but this has been like a little over a month of this, of not really smoking flower on a pretty regular basis, and kind of switching over to like vape pens. Less edibles, more vape pens. So I put it that way. More vape cartridges. And again, I don't vape a lot either because I don't like coughing. So it does affect my coughing when I'm like trying to sleep, like when I lay down at night. So I can't be like vaping every single day, really. But that's potentially, those are the two major things that I could think of that aren't related to any social situation or other stressful situation. Either caffeine with the C4, with the coffee that I drink, with the tea that I drink, or the cannabis products. Maybe the cannabis products not calming me, or the cannabis products not, like maybe I built up some kind of weird tolerance where, my body's like irritable. Like, I'm incredibly irritable because I'm not like stoned, but I don't think that sounds accurate either. Because there's not really a consistency about it. It's not like, because I feel like my caffeine intake and my cannabis intake are at consistent times of day or evening. Like, I'm never really having caffeine this late. The only times I really did that was, when I was trying to stay up a little late this past weekend. Like, I never, ever really do that. But I did. And it affected me up until pretty much today, I think. As far as like not being able to sleep well, it made it so I could stay up, but then it was hard for me to like sleep, and then I couldn't really be like sleeping in too much, even though I was sleeping late. Like, I was not sleeping early. So I was definitely sleep deprived. And then I came home. I came back to the house after the nice trip and the little staycation with the friends and everything. I came back to the house, and immediately, like, yeah, I saw my mom, said hi, and then, she starts trying to, like, help me with my stuff, like, asking me if I need help bringing stuff in. And, I told her when I first walked in, I was kind of like, I just want to, like, I'm so tired and sleep deprived, and I just want to, get my stuff in the house and some of my stuff in the fridge and just eat my meal, because I haven't really eaten that day. I just want to eat my meal and, go to sleep. And then, when she was asking me if I needed help with some of my stuff, and I was just like, I was so, like, I basically, I don't remember exactly the wording I said. It was like, I just really don't want to be bothered. I'm just trying to do what I need to get done, and, she left me alone, but it's like, that's pretty much how I felt. Like, I was like, if I don't say that, I'm going to end up getting, like, that familiar kind of, like, pissed off, irritated feeling started coming up. And I'm just like, if somebody's trying to ask you if you need help with your stuff, that's not really a reason to be, like, upset or mad or anything. Like, to that level. And so, and on the hour-ish drive before that, I was basically recording about my experience with the Thursday recording. About how, like, the Thursday recording, I don't think I should post that, because I was just, like, ranting about all kinds of stuff that seemed like stuff that was bothering me, but in a way I was kind of, like, disconnected from it. Like, I didn't really feel mad, per se, about it. It was just a bunch of stuff that I'm just, like, complaining about, in that recording. And then, there's the Sunday recording, and now there's this one. And so I noticed today, so I'll talk about my routine today, and it's pretty much like almost every day that I work. Some things I shift up between working out, showering, and kind of what I eat and when. That's the kind of stuff I kind of shift around a little bit during my shift, but overall it's kind of the same schedule almost every day, just about. I like a routine. I have certain rituals during the day. So I woke up too early. I woke up before sunrise, but I knew it was morning. I knew it was like probably sometime between 4:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. The sun wasn't out yet, but because of the consistency of the traffic I could hear, I could tell that it was, a certain time of morning. It wasn't still like night. I woke up, I went to the bathroom, I came and laid back down, and I went to sleep a little bit. Like, sometime once the sun had come out, I went back to sleep. I don't know what I was doing the whole time before that. I don't remember at all. I was just probably daydreaming or trying to sleep, but I wasn't, like, trying to do anything. Sometimes I do wake up that early. A lot of times I do, actually, but I did not have any desire to wake up that early today, because I was already sleep deprived. I don't think I went to sleep till, like, probably close to 2 a.m., and so this is before 5 a.m. or around 5 I'm waking up. So I didn't sleep that much at all. When I was kind of, like, it wasn't deep sleep at this hour, but I was asleep enough. And then I woke up, it was like, the first time I remember looking at when I started getting up was 7:36 a.m. My alarm goes off at, like, 7:48 a.m. and I start work at 8 a.m. But at 7:48, I'm usually, like, logging in. So 7:36 rolls around, I go, and in the bathroom, on the toilet pretty much, and, ordering a burrito to be delivered for my breakfast. And I think I made coffee right before that. I have this concentrated coffee. I made a concentrated coffee. Well, I didn't make it concentrated, but I poured a little bit of concentrated coffee with some bottled water on top of it to dilute it so it was no longer concentrated. And then a little bit of almond milk, unsweetened almond milk in there. I drank about maybe 1.5 inches deep throughout the whole day. And it was cold coffee. I drank a lot. A lot of it I drank before probably even 8:15 a.m. But I drank it just to kind of get up and get going, get out of bed, get in the shower, get logged into work. I think I logged in first and jumped in the shower. I think I logged in. I probably log in, message some people. That's usually what I do. I log in, message a few clients, because we start at 8 a.m. So I log in, message a few clients, and then, it's usually pretty early by this point anyways. Like, it's not even 8 yet. And then I'm in the shower, just real quick shower, I didn't do anything. So it's not like I was like, I just was like, I'm already up. Let me wake up some more and jump in the shower and just get that out of the way for today. And got dressed and got ready. Like, when I'm really tired, I literally get dressed, even though I work remotely. Like, I have certain clothes that I wear. They're still more comfortable than what I would wear out in public. But, I wear, long pants. Everybody who knows me knows, I'm always wearing shorts. So I have these, fitted jeans that I wear. And usually I just have, a t-shirt or a tank top. And then over that, I have this, long sleeve button down. It's kind of a Western style long sleeve button down that is, it's not too fitted. It's a little loose, but it's not super loose and baggy. I used to wear it to work, and my friend gave it to me. And, I just wear it because it's comfortable, and I can just wear it kind of open over a shirt. And then, I feel like I'm wearing work attire. So I either wear those jeans or I'll wear my thinner hiking pants, or if it's really hot I'll wear sweats. But yeah, I got dressed and I think the reason why is because I had a Zoom session around 11 today, and so I got dressed so I can get my hair combed properly, even though it wasn't till 11:30. But I was like, it just makes more sense to just shower and just get it out of the way early, especially because I was tired. So I got up, got going for work, and I was pretty motivated. I was thinking, I want to, do good today. And at least, I was like, today, at the very least, let me just meet productivity. That was my goal. Let me make productivity, make some movement with some of my provider contacts, and respond to the messages and things that I need to respond to. Just a lot of housekeeping kind of stuff because I wasn't in on Friday. So just, let me just do some basic stuff here. And I woke up, so I'd already been awake. And before that point, I had been, when I was in the bathroom before the shower and then after the shower, I listen to sometimes this shiur online of these Talmud lessons. So I just wake up and read that or listen to that, and then I tell myself in the mornings, I'm not gonna listen to negative material, negative content, so I don't listen to finance news. I don't listen to there's no Dave Ramsey, there's no Meet Kevin, there's no Iced Coffee Hour, there's no Graham Stephan, none of that stuff first thing in the morning. No, I wouldn't say I really stay off Instagram, but I have no issue with staying off Facebook these days. I'm not usually on Instagram that early in the morning, but I do notice it does become kind of a compulsory kind of, I pick up my phone and just start getting in certain apps and just scrolling around mindlessly. Literally the other day, I don't remember what day this was at all, but the other day, for example, even I was, laying in bed, just kind of it was probably let's say it was 8:30 at night. I don't know what time it was. It was 8:30 p.m. And I'm laying there and I felt pretty like anxious, I guess. I was kind of like a little anxious feeling, just kind of like a little like, restless feeling. A little, like it was very mild. And I remember like holding my phone in my hand, and I was like, I need to like relax a little bit, like, because I'm trying to practice like being very mindful of my energy, especially lately because I've been feeling all over the place and weird. And so I was like, let me just, breathe and be relaxed. And like I told myself, I'm not going online on my computer. I mean, I'm not going on my phone on any apps. Um, and and I'm just gonna like sit here. I don't know specifically if I was like doing deep breathing or like thinking about my mindset or like what. And I was calming myself down. And then I remember kind of like almost like I remember kind of coming to from that and maybe feeling a little better or something. I don't really remember. It's like a blur between starting that and realizing I was kind of feeling a little bit better. And then within a few seconds, I realized I had my phone in my hand with the app open and I was just like scrolling. And I was like, how long have I been scrolling? And like, when did I, open my phone? Like, I think I was holding it the whole time, but I was like, I think it was on too. I think it was on the home screen, but I have it so that, my home screen doesn't shut off. It's just like on. It never, like, the phone never sleeps unless I like turn it off myself or it's glitching. So I just had the home screen on and I had automatically been in like, I guess like YouTube, and I was like scrolling through like videos and stuff and not even watching anything, but just scrolling through them. And I didn't even consciously remember doing that. And I was like, wow. And another thing I do notice just real quick about like that kind of thing, anxiety and everything, I do notice that, the more I'm like scrolling around on things, I do get really high anxiety. So I'm really trying to not do that anymore. I stay the heck away from TikTok, even though it like creeps into YouTube. Just the constant scrolling. And I even noticed myself too lately. Like I tell myself, I'm gonna watch, like anything. Like I'll say something specific, like, oh, I wonder what the latest Ralph Smart video is or something from like Infinite Waters. And then I'll kind of just find myself scrolling, and then I'm like, wait, what was I gonna look for? Like I notice I get in the app and just start scrolling and I'm not even looking for anything. And even when I beforehand kind of consciously decided that I want to watch something specific, or at least go to a certain channel, I don't even get there. I just like scroll, like I just, it's becoming not good. So, I'm not as glued to my phone as a lot of people, but another problem that I noticed with it is, during work, the multitasking, when I have it kind of playing in the background and stuff. Sometimes that's not really good for me because it's drains my energy and my focus and everything. But the job is so low stimulation, it's like, it's hard for me to focus if I'm sitting there for like 8 hours with like nothing stimulating other than like, especially certain times of the month. It's like, not like menstruation necessarily. That's not what I mean. I just mean certain times of the month for work, like the beginning of the month, and the end of the months tend to be heavier phone calls, like scheduled, well, not scheduled, but in our head for the workers, it's like the times that we call people the most on our end, that may or may not have been scheduled, but we tend to try to reach out to everybody at the very beginning of the month. We call it like front loading the month. Like just do all your work as fast as you possibly can at the very start of the month so that you know what you're doing with all the clients throughout the month. Everything's already scheduled out. And you can just start working on specific goals every month for everybody versus, calling everybody just whenever the heck and them calling you whenever the heck and then all the phone tag and all this stuff. It's like, we create a bit of a system of like us calling them really early in the month. So we call, we get in touch, we talk, we are very, involved with our clients and their providers. But that does get draining, but most of my clients at this point know me pretty well, and I know them pretty well, and I know their schedules pretty well. So I kind of know which days who to call, and like what time. And it's ideal, it just kind of works out, and they're used to it too. But yeah, hearing stuff in the background, just listening to like podcasts and stuff. Sometimes that's not like, I don't do it when I'm talking to clients. I call all my clients first, or at least like maybe I'll spend like an hour calling clients and I'll spend like an hour writing. Like anytime I'm like writing or doing paperwork, not anytime, but a lot of times when I am, I like to have something playing in the background. And so that gets a little stressful too, the multitasking. And it drains my energy more too. And then it becomes more frustrating because I'm like, I need to meet productivity and I need to like, do what I need to be doing. And, I'm drained, because I'm paying attention to too much at once. So that's another thing. So those types of things, I mean, I know that's a lot of weird stuff about like cell phones, but I mention that because those are things that I do notice throughout the day. They kind of directly shifts my energy to like tired, unfocused, just like foggy, and I haven't really been feeling foggy in the mornings. Like that was happening for a really long time. And it was kind of scary almost because I was like, there's no amount of caffeine that was even like fixing it. And it wasn't recent. This was like months ago, like probably before April. But I was feeling really foggy in the mornings and I was like, wow, this is too much, like I need to like do something about this. But, yeah. So, I, eased into my morning, did what I needed to do. My breakfast burrito eventually came. I think I was watching... I feel like I was watching something while I was eating, and then I was, like, texting one of my clients at the same time. And, eventually I got done with the text conversation and was, like, researching things while I was texting this client because they were, like, asking me questions about some specific stuff about, like, email spam and, like, how to block certain stuff or whatever. And so I was trying to, like, find the details so they could do it because they're having some, like, triggering experiences of certain content coming through their email that's, like, triggering their trauma. And so I was like, okay, it was like a work related thing. So I was like, let me see if I can find something. And yeah, that's kind of what I did for like probably up until almost 8:30, maybe 8:45 or so. Around 9ish, I think I started calling doctor's office probably around like 9:30. I was still texting the client around 9. I talked to doctor's offices from like around 9 to 11 or so, and then had the session with the client on Zoom from about 11:30. So from about 11 to 11:30, I kind of planned the session. It's a lot of trauma work, a lot of like DV survivor kind of like coping skills, boundary setting, a lot of skill building around DV and around resilience related to past deviant trauma and things like that. Coordinating with their providers and about their upcoming appointments and therapy, like talking to their therapist. This took me into about one something. And then I told myself for lunch I was going to eat lunch and then, while working, and then I was going to, combine my breaks. So I think in there I had taken like a 5 or so minute break before the session with the client on Zoom, like a bathroom and snack break, because I ate like half of a muffin, and I took like a bathroom break and everything, and then I hydrated and stuff, and then came back and had the session. The session was about a little over an hour, and then I did the coordinating with the therapist and a lot of researching and rescheduling them and planning out the next session for them and all that, and some other researching with some other stuff. And then I heated up my lunch. By this time it was, I don't know. I don't know what time it was, but I think I set my lunch alarm on my phone from about 1:36 p.m. to about 1:36 p.m. to 2:06 p.m. Yeah, because I remember my supervisor had messaged me like 2 minutes or so before 2 p.m. and then I responded at like 2:16 or 2:15 p.m. Because that's when I was like getting back on the Teams. Like I was back on my computer probably around 2:06, but so basically at that lunch break I ate my lunch, my actual food, and I had just like one piece of Popeye's fried chicken, half of a plate full of like a Mediterranean salad, and a few strawberries. That was lunch. Pretty decent lunch. I mean, the fried food isn't necessarily healthy, but there's fruits and veggies, and it wasn't like high carbs or anything. And I ate the food while I was documenting that long session and finishing up the notes for that one client. Billed for all that and everything. And then, I combined all that, all my breaks pretty much. My breaks and my lunch together. No, I think it was like 40 minutes. It wasn't 50 minutes. It was like 40 minutes. And then I was laying there, kind of meditating, deep breathing. My mind was literally bouncing all over the freaking place. Like, I couldn't capture a thought if I tried. My head was just like unloading, just like it was downloading and uploading and searching simultaneously. Like, it was just doing everything at once. And I mean, I wasn't feeling like burned out, but I was definitely tired. And I had, mind you, I was already sleep deprived. And so that's kind of how I deal with days that are super complex, is mainly being able to kind of take that midday rest, and eating my lunch while I'm working, because we only get a 30-minute lunch break and we get 2 10-minute breaks. But yeah, sometimes because I eat later too, I don't usually eat at like noon, because I'm snacking. It's like I eat my breakfast at the beginning of work, and then I'm snacking like around 11 something. So I'm not usually gonna eat around 12. Since I'm working remotely and mostly at home, I can just have food right there. Like, it's not like I have to do that much. to prepare it, I just get some leftovers from the fridge and heat them up. And so I heated them up, and like just the chicken itself, and then ate the other stuff. And then once I finished with the actual notes and stuff, I'd pretty much documented the whole first part of my day. And then I took the 40-minute break, lay down, unwinded my mind. I felt significantly better after that. And then there were only really about 2 hours left of work. And then I did the math on how much productivity I had at that point and realized I needed like 100 more. It was sometime close to, I don't know when. It was like sometime during the day. And I realized I still needed 100 more minutes. About 100 more, 110 or so more minutes. To reach productivity. And so I did 100 minutes worth of work. And met productivity pretty much. And like, it was mostly for like finishing up all the research stuff I'd done in the morning, for other clients, for their providers, seeing who's changed and looking at the charts and all that stuff. I put in the time, that I'm, browsing through the charts and stuff too. When I'm about to call the providers and write down the information of who I'm calling and all that. Like, I like to have a hard copy written of that information, but then later on I'll go back and call. So I went back and called after that nap, and I think I slightly napped, but it didn't feel too significant, but I did notice it helped. And then at the end of the day, I worked on like a class that I was, getting to, that I'm starting to learn from. And then, just did that until dinner time pretty much. And yeah, that's when I noticed I was feeling pretty decent, was around dinner. Yeah, dinner was good. I think we had like baked raviolis with like greens from the garden and some small pieces of sausage and some like some kind of greens from the garden. I don't know what they were. It's hard for me to tell when they're in food, but I think it was collards. Just like steamed collards. And then I think they were baked in. They weren't steamed. They were baked. But they weren't crispy baked. They were baked like in the sauce. So boiled, rather. I guess it's called boiled because the sauce was boiling. I don't know. They weren't made stovetop. And then, or like in a slow cooker. And, yeah, around 7, I noticed I was feeling better than I usually was feeling all these other days. And then, I was going to record about my night routine where I was like, okay, I do remember sometime when I was still in San Diego, recording, or not recording. Well, yeah, I talked about it, where I started kind of at a certain time of evening, not using my phone, like staying away from my phone, and like how hard that even was to even like not reach for it, not be on it. It doesn't seem like it's that hard of a thing, but especially because like if I'm not like actively doing my hobbies, I don't really have like other things that I watch. Like, I watch mostly everything on my phone. There's the privacy with it, and it's all like continued, I mean, YouTube, I can use the TV at this house, like, and be on YouTube on the living room screen, but it's like, I don't really watch the same stuff that I would be watching by myself. You know, like Ashley Gavin's podcast and stuff like that. Like, I'm probably not going to be watching that, in the living room, but, I'll listen to it, like, during work in the background, or, like, when I'm just chilling. But I like catching up with podcasts and things, but I do think that it definitely contributes to anxiety for me, and just, like, not being able to slow down my brain. And my brain is usually spinning quite quickly. And then also kind of being comfortable with silence. There's that Depeche Mode song. Is that Depeche Mode is like Enjoy the Silence. Like, I really like that idea. Because for me, silence helps me realize what is a struggle at the moment. So if it's like my thoughts just kind of racing, I can kind of see if I can even pay attention to them. Usually the weird thing is that my mind is racing, but it's not in a way that I even like consciously can like stop and be like, what am I thinking? Like, when I try to do that, a lot of times I can't even like tell like what I'm thinking, because I'm thinking so much stuff. I can't even like grasp onto like one main thing. But then when I try to do like deep breathing and meditation and stuff like that, that's when I notice, where my mind is going. When I'm trying to do the deep breathing, I'm like, where's my head going? It's going to these specific things, and then it'll usually take me a while. I won't completely ignore the thoughts that come up. Usually I'll do like deep breathing. I don't know if I mentioned, so I think around that time, usually it's around after dinner, usually around 8 p.m. because the sun goes down around 8:06. I like to see, it's kind of my own thing, kind of feel the breeze outside and feel see the night sky, like right before night, right at the end of the day, and then right before night, right before I, shut the windows and all that kind of stuff. Just right before night. When it's still technically, not sunset, but it's still the end, like the last few minutes of that day. I try to get like fresh air, kind of take in the day, and then start lounging a little bit to kind of like, once it's actually officially night, like that whole day is over and it's officially night, I like to kind of reflect on things. So that's when I started doing this recording, is I was like, okay, I'm kind of reflecting on my day, so I might as well do it. This is kind of how I do it usually, is this whole process of, I can go by the day by like minutes, or just like by activities, and just kind of like going through the day. Usually I'll do one pass and just, it's more like actions and what I was doing, but then kind of recognizing like, okay, how was I feeling at different parts of the day and what was kind of going on for me. And, usually, either I'll do that either before or after doing some like, slowing down my mind, deep breathing and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't get any exercise today, but I would probably usually try to get some exercise during work. Instead of the nap, I would usually try to work out. So, but I do feel like it helped, honestly, because I wasn't feeling too crummy today. And I've been feeling pretty pretty not my normal self for quite a few days, probably close to 2 weeks. Not quite yet, but it's almost 2 weeks. So, like, that was pretty much my day. I don't really do a whole lot in the evenings. I try to listen to some kind of fun, positive stuff. And just kind of keep it at that. Like, sometimes I'll watch movies. Usually if I'm going to watch shows and movies, though, that's usually something I'm doing while we're eating dinner or after dinner time or like right before dinner. I don't really like to do it too much before bed because then I don't want to sleep and I want to just stay watching movies all night long. But sometimes I'll watch like a movie or 2 movies. Catch up on YouTube, that kind of stuff. And then usually my lights are out by 9:45 p.m. I'm probably not sleeping. Usually before I turn the lights out, I wouldn't say that I don't know. I don't know how to explain like things like prayer and stuff like that. Because it's kind of interesting. Like, I wouldn't say that I don't pray, but I don't really pray like a lot of people do. Like, I'm not usually like just like praying like, sometimes I'll do like around that time of night I might pray, or when I first wake up in the morning or something, but that's not very consistent. Like, I'd say I more consistently pray randomly throughout the day when I think about doing it, if that makes sense. And it's not necessarily something's going bad, something's going good. I'd say usually it's like when it just hits my mind to do it, and I'll just like pause and I just kind of rapidly do it. Like, there's not like a specific flow to it or anything. I just kind of do it. I don't know what I'm praying about necessarily. It's not like the same themes. I just, whatever it is that's coming out is what's coming out, and then I'll usually get distracted into doing something else, and then, I just move on. Like, that's kind of more so how I pray. I'm not saying I don't ever pray, but I don't usually do like the whole long focused prayers all the time. Now, Friday nights and Saturdays, especially if I'm home, because I was raised like with the Sabbath and everything, and I just am very used to being disconnected from the world for the most part. I'm not saying I don't hang out with friends or don't go out clubbing and partying and stuff. I'm just saying if I'm home, it's usually going to be a quiet night. I'm usually refocusing my mind and, just really disconnecting from everything. And I'm also usually realizing how much of a challenge it is. Like, if I it's the day that I usually tell myself, not even like specific movies or social media or apps or whatever, or, if it's like religious or secular or whatever, usually I tell myself that there's something that I'm going to focus on and trying to avoid for a period of time until Saturday sundown. That can be anything. So usually I'll say something like for example, last Friday night and Saturday, I think I was avoiding everything involved with like banks, finance. So I wasn't checking my bank. I wasn't checking my emails. I wasn't checking, I wasn't watching any of my finance content. I wasn't watching movies that weren't about like some kind of like deep, processing of like, any kind of mysteries of the universe, whether that's like religion or like nature videos and things like that. Just like straight up like anything that had to do with nature and the universe, that was okay content to consume. And otherwise, I wasn't really connecting to any of the other content. This wasn't this past weekend. This was the weekend before that I'm talking about. 4th of July weekend. I wasn't engaged in anything like that. And then I like to see where my mind goes. Is it, am I even going to be able to do it? A lot of times I do kind of just not even make kind of a, any kind of testing myself for things. And then sometimes I really realize how stressful it is to maybe, if I say like, I'm not going to watch any movies. Like I can watch YouTube and I can watch small videos, but no full episodes of anything that's like an actual series. Like I'm not going to sit and binge watch series that I've purchased or that are online or anything, and not going to watch any movies. But I can watch YouTube clips or whatever. So even something as simple as that, where I'm just like, man, I can't watch a movie, and I've got like the whole like 24-hour period, no movies, it's like, I'm not doing it to torture myself, but I'm doing it, because I think it's good, because then I realize, what it is that I'm trying to fill my time with and trying to fill my head with. Like the only way for me to really easily figure that out is when I disconnect from things. Then I realize how much I'm either connected to them or want to be connected to them, or am more comfortable connecting to them than finding other things to do. And I mean, I haven't really even read the like all the criteria for like internet addictions and problems with like devices and video games and stuff like that. I don't necessarily see myself having like an addictive problem to a way that it interferes too deeply with my life. But the more I do these types of things, I do realize the impact it has. Like I feel like it's much more peaceful without the devices, especially because I have an active mind, and I like to learn, I like to problem solve and figure stuff out. So of course when I'm online, I'm like looking for content that kind of piques my interest, and it's like my mind is always just like thinking and solving and like thinking about stuff and like analyzing different things, and like it needs to just stop. And I know a lot of times my mind and my body are telling me like, yo, just like stop, just like slow down. Like it's not like way too out of hand, but I do notice that it's wearing on my energy. Especially when I have like stressful days, then it's like, my energy is like, it just tanks. I think it's good to be like having like a low stimulation lifestyle. I don't have a very, compared to most people, my life is pretty quiet. I'm social, I'll go out and stuff, but, I'm not too loud of a person. Like, people tend to say that. They're like, you're so quiet, and it's like, I mean, sometimes I play guitar, sometimes I'm, making music and stuff, listening to music, but I tend to be pretty quiet. Sometimes I like the solitude and just keep to myself, and not even like in an isolated way necessarily, but I just like to be in my own head a lot. I really value that time that I spend just in my head. I'm not in anybody else's head. I'm not thinking about anybody else's anything. I'm just in my head for once, because I spend a lot of time in other people's minds. And, it helps me to spend more time in my own mind when it's calm. But to get to that point really takes a lot of effort. But yeah, it's pretty possible that that's a combination of things. I've been kind of running myself thin, with all the combination of things I mentioned. But, people have heard me say that, like, I'm over my job and I'm over all this stuff, and keep taking PTO and all this, because it's just like, yeah, I have been feeling pretty overwhelmed. But when I look at things on the surface, like, things have happened at work, but work has been pretty chill, honestly. The hardest part of it is that my mind hasn't been wanting to be there. That's what's been making it hard. And yeah, I had like a really challenging client with quite a few challenging sessions and a very challenging attitude, and just a lot of, couple fast days that we don't usually have fast-paced days, but the insurance towards the end of June decided that they needed us to do certain stuff by the end of the fiscal year, and we weren't told about this until like 2 days before. So we started just suddenly trying to get everything done, and it was a lot of stuff, a lot of paperwork. So that's pretty much what's been going on with me. That's pretty much my routine. How things have been. It's been weird, and if you can tell, it's just been a weird time. I can't even make sense of it. It's just, I'm still trying to make sense of it. But ultimately, I think I just need to chill and slow down. I don't feel like I'm running around fast-paced, but, I'm still coming down from doing a lot of major changes. And so I don't think I need to be too aggressive as far as like the energy I'm trying to like pump into like new things that I'm trying to do. I think I do need to pump the brakes a little bit. The whole lunchtime thing just really helped me realize, I'm like, I think I need to just literally be like taking meditation breaks. I think as low stimulation as my job seems, being remote and not being in like the normal social work environments that I'm in, and being more in like a tech environment, even though it is, on the phone and stuff, but being in a much more tech environment, I think, is a big shift for me. Just me and my devices, and that's pretty much my job. And we talk to clients on the phone and Zoom and everything, but a lot of them don't do Zoom very much, so it's mostly phone and texting and emailing, and it's just, yeah, like, it's hard to be kind of like in a digital world like that all day long. For me, it's easy to get just like, you're just multitasking all day, and it's probably that's kind of like got me just kind of like agitated too, you know. It's like, you know, I don't really do multitasking very well, you know. I mean, I've always had to do some form of multitasking, but I really like to zone in on things. It just helps time fly faster, and I like to just be like so focused on what I'm doing. I don't like to be, you know, because we don't have like a structured calendar. I don't like to be like in the middle of one session and then two more people are calling me and then the call drops and then the internet goes out and then, okay, now I gotta call this person back, and like there's always just like weird stuff going on. A lot of it's not scheduled. But it's not way too busy. It's just not scheduled. So it's really, really strange. And I said I wasn't going to record a 90-minute episode. We're like 70 something minutes in. Yeah, I got to start getting ready to go to bed. But, I think, you know, it just helps to kind of have like rituals throughout the week and the day and certain times of the month, certain times of the year, just to kind of connect things to. And yeah, I'm pretty glad things have calmed down for me, honestly. It's really been helpful, even though it's just today. Like, I'll take it, shoot. But all right. I gotta get on with getting to sleep.